Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through a little bit of an exercise, and you can do this just mentally. I'm I'm a very like hands-on person, so I need like that tangible piece. You can make yourself a body and get a marker. Um, I use this body for a lot of different activities, but I'm gonna walk you through an exercise to kind of, the purpose of this exercise is to kind of give you a placement of where you are at right now, and walk through your domains of development in the situation that you are in the environment that you are in, and kind of work so that we can have a goal to address certain things to move through the situations in your classroom. Okay, so specifically speaking, of course, with this classroom and this child, we're talking about you. Okay, so you were a child and you have these domains of development. You have your sensory orientation, you have your cognition, you have your social and emotional. These are all still parts of your developing domain, and they are affected in different ways on different days, depending on different situations, especially this situation that we are collaborating about with a particular behavioral challenge in the classroom. Okay, so you're gonna put your little, we're gonna make a heart on your brain, because this is a very important part of you. And we're gonna get to that in a little bit. Okay, so first we're gonna put that, and we're going to start with your touch. Where do you feel? You can close your eyes to really think about this. Maybe you have to kind of like put yourself in this place with this situation, with this child. Where are you tapped out? Like, where do you just not want to be touched? Is it on your arms, or are you always being grabbed on your arms because the kids are at that level? Is it your face? Is it your hair? For me, like, my hair is curly and it's always moving and it gets in my way. I usually have it up in a bun, but for the video purposes, I thought it would be more pleasing and aesthetically pleasing to see my hair down and nice. But typically it's just like always in my hair, always being touched, and I can move it a lot, that kind of thing. So think of like where your body is just overstimulated. So I'm just gonna draw my hair, because it's always, and my face, because that's where I feel like the most, it's a trigger for me to like have my face in my hair. So I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna draw, my hair's wavy and curly, put a little Fruit Loops in there. Okay, so I have my touch. I don't really like have a lot of issues being touched everywhere. It's not like my favorite thing in the world, but it takes a lot for me to get tapped out with touch. And I am a very like hands-on person, so I'm okay with that. It's gonna be different for everybody, and that's okay. But these are things that we wanna become more aware of. We wanna say out loud so that we can process through them. Sometimes all we need to do is say it out loud and get validation that, yeah, this is real, this is a real trigger, and move on. Sometimes there's a little bit more of a planning and a strategy that we need to address it, so that you aren't getting always tapped out and you are meeting your needs and your self-care. Okay, so touch. Okay, so the next domain is emotions. How are you feeling? So you're gonna flip your guy over. How are you feeling about, and you're gonna write this in your brain. And I'm gonna write in circles just so I have enough space, but you can write however way. You can do a web, whatever. And it's not gonna just, it could be a paragraph if you're a paragraph person, it could be a sentence. I'm just like a note and a web kind of person, so I'm just gonna jot down some things that walking into the situation in the classroom, I'm not there, so I'm gonna feel different things. But I'm gonna say, like, there are certain situations that have made me feel like frustrated. I'm frustrated for the child. I am finding a challenge with articulating what needs to happen. So like even me, like I'm here to help, but even me, okay, I have to find a way to meet the child's needs, but also meet you guys' needs. and collaborate with you so that you know, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I saying do X, Y, and Z? There's a reason for it, for their development, and there's a reason that has been successful. So I have to find the articulation and the way for you guys to understand why and how. And so I have to also like learn your different personalities, and I have to learn how you intake information and be able to articulate those messages for you guys to each hear them, because you're just all just a little bit different, right? Because we're all different. I'm also feeling hopeful. I feel I'm not in that situation, and I do see the progress that's being made. I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful in every situation. I love doing this. I've helped lots of families and lots of children, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You may feel desperate. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna put that just because I, there's times where I feel desperate, where I just want to help the parents. Desperate. And I think in these situations, there's a lot of desperation and despair because we are in this situation, and how do we get there? And most of all, how do we get out of it? So just all the things that you're feeling, your emotions, and that's the good and the bad, and I think there's something really, really important, and I'm gonna make a V on our body. It's very important that we find our voice, V for voice. We cannot process through everything going in our head without saying it out loud. We are communal people. We were created that way. There goes a lot to say for talk therapy, and this is kind of one of those approaches. We are saying what we feel because we need to release it. Our body is not meant to hold all of this tension and frustration and emotions. We're meant to share it. We're meant to share good emotions, love, collaboration, being fun and playing shenanigans. We're meant to do that in a communal way. And so we are also not meant to hold in frustrations, challenges, behaviors. We have to share that so that we can work through them. Crying actually is a way for the body to release tension, and not a lot of people know this, but it actually creates dopamine when you cry, because you are releasing that hormone that creates stress, and dopamine is calming your body down. So even though it's uncomfortable, some people have a really hard time feeling not feeling guilty about crying. Our body is telling us something, and it's the need to release that tension. Okay, so I'm a very emotional person. I do cry a lot, and now I don't feel so bad about it because I know the science and all of the important benefits that it does for my body. So V for voice. You have to find your voice. You have to articulate that. What is something that you would like to say out loud and you just really just don't find that you have the courage, or you're guilty for even thinking this, or whatever? You can write it, and I'm gonna make another V. Sorry, you can't see. I made another V under, and that you can write whatever it is. It could be something like, I'm done. I feel dead. I feel like I don't want to connect with this child. Tired. Anything that you just feel is like something that you feel like hasn't been heard, something you need to vent, articulate, and you don't know how to articulate it. You just need to see it. And this isn't necessarily something that you're going to give to someone. Nobody needs to see this. This is not homework that you need to give to your boss. This is just for you to become more self-aware of where you are in this state right now. Okay, so that's what you're feeling and what you need to say. Okay, so we're gonna move on to, I'm gonna make a body line right here. And what I want you to think about is, if you had a best friend that was a teacher that you were teaching with, and in this space, what would you tell this person? What would you say to encourage her? So that maybe she needs words of encouragement. Maybe she needs guidance. Maybe she needs patience. What is something that you would tell her to help her feel better, so that so she doesn't feel alone. She doesn't feel at despair, because you're not alone. You have a team that is here to help you, and sometimes we don't know how to help each other because we're not talking out loud. So what would you do? What would you say to that friend in this space? I'll give you a couple minutes to write all that, because it could be a couple different things. It could be a sentence. It could be just random words. Okay. And you can add to it as we go. If there's something else that you think. Okay. Now we're gonna move down to the physicality of what you are feeling. When you are frustrated, and think of a situation like what we are dealing with right now, particularly with this child, maybe with a peer interaction. When you get frustrated, where do you feel your tension? Like, try to close your eyes, think about the situation. Maybe the child is crawling all over friends at circle time. Maybe you turn around and a child pushed another child or punched another child or screaming at another child. Where are you feeling the tension? Is the tension in your shoulders? Is it in your arms going, I want to stop it, but I don't know how to, and I don't know how to not to hurt the child? Like, there's so many things that go through our bodies. Where are you feeling the tension? And on the other side of your body, you are going to mark that tension and just color it in. Like, I'm just going to pretend it's not my foot, but I'm going to pretend that it's my foot, and I'm just going to color it in, just shade it in a little bit. Typically for myself, it's my shoulders where I feel tension. My shoulder pads of tension. My neck. And my back. I have like specific back points where I usually, like, my back will go out on me if I'm not taking care of myself. All my back muscles, where I feel these points. Okay, you're gonna shade it in. Okay. So that's something for you to be very aware of. And now we're really gonna have to think of, like, how can I release that tension in the moment, after the moment? There's a couple different things that you can do. Of course, like the rolling of the shoulders, if it's your shoulders. I will actually, like, stand up, and this is something that I do regularly. I'll stand up, I'll drop to the floor, let everything hang, and then I will slowly lift my body up. Of course, the last thing to come up is my neck and my head, and then I am just, like, releasing that tension. I'm taking deep breaths. We cannot forget how important breathing is. Sometimes we hold our breath when we're in stressful situations, and that adds to the tension. So just be cognizant of that. Different things you can do. You can change the atmosphere tone by soft music. There's green noise, there's white noise. I particularly don't respond to certain noises very well. So you kind of have to play with a little bit. But it does, I have noticed that it does help with the atmosphere and the audio in the classroom, as well as what it does for my nervous system. So you kind of have to play with that a little bit. Like I said, if your sensory orientation is auditory, that's something that's really going to be important for you to be aware of and to provide in the classroom. Okay, so it's if throughout the day too you feel like, oh, there's like another stress point, write it down so that you know, and it's something that you can say out loud and reaffirm with yourself so that you're aware of it. Because the more aware you are of things happening to your body when you're in stressful situations, the more care you're going to give yourself, and the more you're going to be able to think about, okay, like, how am I going to work through this situation in that stressful situation, right? What are some techniques? Maybe your co-teacher has an idea, but when you talk about it out loud, it just gives you so much more self-awareness. Okay, your cognition review. Okay, when you are, think of the times that you feel drained, disappointed with yourself, your approaches that you once made are not working in the same situation. Think about, write those on the legs. So you're gonna write like, I'm whispering and I'm doing all these things, but they're not working, or they work sometimes and they don't work always, or they are working, I'm just finding myself totally drained after using them. Write all those things down. This is kind of like your journal, and this can turn into like a journal status where you draw the body. Okay, today I felt X, Y, and Z. I was frustrated when this happened. The more you become aware of situations, the more you're going to anticipate and you're going to be able to change your behaviors, your reactions. You're becoming more self-aware, and you're becoming more in control of your behaviors, as well as maybe like making changes in the classroom before. So we're getting to that preventative points in your reactions and what you can do actually in the classroom to change the outcome of this frustrating state that we're in. So really think about, do you feel like at this point, do you feel like the situation is escalating? Do you feel like we're balancing it out a little bit? It's important to articulate that out loud so that you can say, okay, am I really, because you'll start to like contemplate when you're saying this out loud, am I really putting 100% in of what I'm doing? Or yeah, I kind of whispered, but then I didn't really do it and I just kind of gave up. So you're going to become a lot more self-aware and honest with yourself if you are, what you're saying you're actually doing and what you're not, so that you can make changes in yourself to kind of adapt and balance. Instead of work for me, I need to try this, or hey, I noticed you did this differently, or it's just not working for me. Talk about it out loud. Okay, so you have your person and you have some of your notes, and in your heart, I want you to put, I'm gonna write it and then I'm gonna show you. Okay, I put, I am me, the best I can be. You can only be the best you that you can be. And the more that you share and communicate and are honest with yourself, the more you're going to grow. We have to be honest. We have to let the ego go. It's a little humbling. We have to be able to notice our faults and our mistakes and go, okay, that I feel bad about that, but I'm moving on, and I'm not holding myself accountable for what didn't work. I'm moving on and I'm gonna try something new. Change is one of the hardest things that we can do for ourselves, and articulating that out loud is really important, and journaling is really important way for us to be able to articulate. So I hope that you did this. I hope that it's helpful and something that you can continue. We are holding and hosting coffee and discussions with teachers in the Playhouse for Saturday mornings. If you are interested, it's only $10 for one person to come and have endless coffee and conversations, and every Saturday there will be a topic of discussion. So if you want or interested, you can ask your director, hey, a bunch of us want to go. Is this something that you'd be willing to pay for? Or, you know, $10 is not that expensive, so maybe you just want to come and collaborate. We have toys here. We do hold parent times as well. During these teacher hours, there will be no present children, but we will have all the tools so that you can say, hey, show me what you're talking about when you do this, or show me that, or there's just a plethora of things that I can't get into always one video, but sometimes when you can pull away and come and play, we can get through all that processing and hopefully give you some continuous tools to take. There's never a time not to learn. And yeah, so I hope that you really enjoyed this exercise. Have a great day. Don't forget to process and play.